Hello everyone, and welcome back to Bad Music Video Theater. Let's wind the clocks back to 1987, shall we? In the high-paced world of the 1980s, American culture was reaching a breaking point. The Cold War was heating up, Reagan traveled Europe tearing down walls, and amid a recession, Gordon Gekko was talking about how good greed was. As tensions ratcheted, musicians took to songwriting to shine a light on these hardships. More and more songs became outcries about the frustrations of living in excess, possible global annihilation, the pall of the Vietnam conflict, and redefining what being an American truly meant. Amidst this chaos and confusion, we got Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers' Jammin' Me.
Well, I sat down to write a song about dogs, and I wrote,
Wait, sorry, this isn't it. In 1987, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers released the album Let Me Up, I've Had Enough. After releasing their album Southern Accents, they joined Bob Dylan on the True Confessions tour. According to guitarist Mike Campbell, he had written Jammin' Me and given it to Petty, who held on to it before working on the lyrics with Dylan.
Jammin' Me I wrote with Bob Dylan and Mike Campbell. We wrote a couple of songs, one that went on his record and one that went on ours.
I guess they were picking words out of a newspaper or off the television, and Tom said, "Oh, I've got this track of Mike's," and they inserted those words over the track, says Campbell. Petty later admitted that he was embarrassed by this when Eddie Murphy took issue with being name-checked in the song.
I heard something about Tom. What is Tom Petty saying something about take back to Eddie Murphy? What does he mean by that? I'm not hip to his music.
He lists a number of people who are...
We didn't mean to hurt your feelings there, Ed, or anybody. Those are the three pictures on the entertainment page that day.
The song's lyrics talk about Petty's desire to go back to a simpler time, before all the media overload and worldwide civil unrest overwhelmed, or to quote, jammed him. The song mentions Iranian torture, Steve Jobs, then future former President Trump, and El Salvador, which was 8 years into a 12-year civil war at the time. The song emphasizes how stressful the time and culture was. The music video muddles that message completely. The Heartbreakers play in the subliminal space and television static. Newspaper articles and magazine ads flash behind them as they perform about the overabundance of news media. Suddenly, keyboard player Benmont Tench plummets to the earth in a recliner, and drummer Stan Lynch scoffs at our upcoming nuclear Armageddon. You guys remember Floam? I always wanted Floam as a kid, but it probably would have gotten everywhere. I just imagine the director pitching these segments. And then we'll have a bunch of shots of your faces, but they'll go really fast and they'll be all mixed up. What do you say, Tom? There's just so many arbitrary moments in the video. Tom starts pulling globs of static out of the TV like he's in Videodrome, and apparently he can fit a whole car in his mouth. Wow, brains used to be so cheap back in the day. You just can't find good brains for a quarter anymore. I love how lazy they get with the filters. Just slap anything on there. We need to finish this thing up by tomorrow. I think a video that does the whole "our world is molded by media and advertising" bit a whole lot better is the Talking Heads song Love for Sale. That video was more straightforward, without a bunch of camera tricks or tacky green screen effects. Both have the same basic premise, and placing the Talking Heads video side by side with Jammin' Me shows how directionless the latter is. Love for Sale's simplicity serves to complement the message of the lyrics. God, who would have thought I would be describing a Talking Heads video as simple or simplistic?
It's like 60 Minutes on acid.
Take this sequence, for example, where they compare kids playing with action figures to soldiers in a war zone. Is this supposed to be about how war toys have desensitized kids to the idea of war? Or is it that by glorifying war in kids' media, they're grooming these kids to want to enlist? Or is it that we forgive violent play in children because we forgive violent acts from the troops? Oh, and it's gone. Never mind, I guess. We need to show some computer games. We also have a duck and cover montage, because what better way to discuss media overload than by showing possible nuclear war scenarios? I really hope this isn't giving anyone epileptic seizures. More than anything, the static set reminds me of that weird pirate broadcast of Max Headroom. Is anyone else creeped out? My main critique for this video is similar to my feelings on Peter Gabriel's Big Time, covered on the show a few episodes back. It's interesting from a visual standpoint, pulling in endless different techniques to fit the song's theme, but ultimately it's a rudderless vessel.
I think because his career preceded MTV in the video era, he wasn't always recognized as having contributed as much as he did to the form, but he was a very, very big part of MTV for 20 years.
According to IMDb, the video was directed by the Heartbreakers manager Jim Lenahan, so it obviously wasn't a miscommunication between the artist and the production team. Maybe I'm getting too down on Lenahan, as video director wasn't his full-time gig. But at the same time, he seems to have directed a few other Tom Petty music videos, including the iconic Stop Dragging My Heart Around. So if it's the same guy doing both, he phoned this one in. Most likely though, Lenahan was in the director's chair because the band just needed a video and they didn't want to drag it out. They just wanted to kick back in front of a green screen for a while and see what they got. And it seems like they had a great time, so what's wrong with that?
I mean, he's also very lucky that he's not branded a video artist, because people who are tend to kind of get treated like the monkeys. Regardless of how good they are, they tend to kind of get dismissed when the hairstyles change.
The song charted at number 18 on the Billboard Hot 100, but the album didn't fare quite as well. Let Me Up, I've Had Enough made it to number 20 on the album charts, and despite achieving gold status, was the only album in the Heartbreakers discography not to appear on his greatest hits album. The horrible album cover probably didn't help things. It hasn't exactly gotten a renewed image in recent years either. In the entire 4-hour and 19-minute Tom Petty documentary, Running Down a Dream, they only talk about the album for 1 minute. I talked about one song from it for longer than that already.
Artistically, it was a mess. I remember playing some gigs and just Tom seemed pretty frustrated.
It seems as though the music video has taught me its true lesson, because all I want to do now is turn off my TV.
Let me up, I've had enough. It speaks for itself.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I always appreciate people liking and sharing my videos. I'm hard at work creating the next episode, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. If you find any terrible music videos that you're desperate for me to cover, drop them in the comments. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.